Okay, great. So I guess we can start slowly today. And my topic is today is I decided to tell how social networks work and how do they hold our attention. It's very interesting topic for me, so I decided to research a little bit about that. Today we'll be mostly talking about such applications like TikTok, Instagram, or for example YouTube Shorts that they have also introduced. And like overall, when you're going through these applications, with every swipe of your finger, you're away from some entertainment. We always see a lot of dances, a lot of content of these social medias is very various, and this makes them interesting. So it's endless engaging content. And today I want to talk more about the factor of scrolling here. So topics I'm going to cover today are what makes scrolling applications so enjoyable to use, the impact on user behavior and psychology, how our scrolling applications are leveraged in marketing and PR, ideal scenarios for infinite scrolling, and also we will talk about some alternatives for scrolling. For example, like if you need it, if you don't need it on your application or website. Let's start a little bit and overall about vertical page scroll. This is a structure that vertically organizes, so it simplifies the engagement of user and application or website, because basically you don't need a lot for this interaction, just your smartphone and basically one finger. It doesn't matter where you hold your phone, on your left hand, right hand, or both hands, you can always interact with it. And there are three main reasons why the vertical page scroll is so popular nowadays. First of all, because it satisfies the feed flickers and the audience. So basically, most of us naturally hold our devices only in one hand, and it happened back after 2016. When most of us had access to the internet and to the web from our smartphones. So just in our pocket, we have the whole world. So that's why designers and developers also decided to mostly focus on mobile optimization of how the websites and application works, and be here more like human-oriented. And second one, and is enhancing UI UX through design. This means that it gives a lot of opportunities also to use some graphics, some elements, and more traditional site structures they're keeping, but they can be displayed in different ways. For example, here, you don't need to make your user scroll or click through different pages because they can simply get lost. Or if, for example, they click different button, you will not be able to express the whole content of your website or of your application, what you wanted to actually say, because they can just miss a part of it, so be a little bit out of the context. When you use scrolling, this is basically impossible because while the person is scrolling through the website or application just with his fingers, he is going through the whole content, and only by the headlines, by the first seconds of interactions with this content, the person can understand if this content is actually relevant for him or her, or he can skip it. And the third one is animations and parallax. So here designers and developers got a lot of freedom of how they actually use animations and how they can design only not from visual point of view, but also from users' interaction. So, for example, user can not only communicate himself with the text, but also make it a little bit more engaging. Because, for example, the part of storytelling can be on also in how the page works, how the page is being scrolled, how to put interesting animations to this website. So it always nowadays looks very complex. The user is more engaged, obviously. So due to all these benefits, it's incredibly effective to use, especially scrolling way of navigation on the website, for users to spend more time on the website, to engage more with your content, and to remember your website or your application more out of everything else they interact with, which also increases opportunities that one day they will come back to your website or application and they will remember it more, which works also for the brand. Now let's talk a little bit about algorithms and how the UI of these applications is so effective. First of all, is with swiping, simplicity, instant rewards, and user control. And basically that there is no thinking needed when you use these applications. First of all, let's talk about swiping or feed flow. And if you want to describe it simply, feed flow is about the time it takes for user to acquire to touch that target. So basically it means that the bigger target is and the closer it is to touch for user, the more opportunity is that the user will actually touch it and the user will actually swipe to the next page, swipe for comment section, for description section in the application, and for more details. The further the target is, the lower opportunities to have that the person will actually swipe to it. And the larger target is, it gives you more opportunities that the user will swipe to it. So when you swipe in scrolling applications to different sections, the target is so close, it's so direct, and it's so understandable for users, actually, how much they can just imagine not knowing how this application works, but by just their feelings. So in any way, how they hold their phone or how they use this application, they can understand where they need to click for the next piece of information, or for the next section, or for the more content on this page. Yes. And second one is simplicity or Hicks law. This is basically the simplicity is the main rule of successful UI, and there is a reasons for it. If you need to describe the Hicks law, it means that you don't need to do too many complicated choices. So for user, it's less likely that he will make a choice while he is on this page. So it means when you need to make a page, you need to make it as simple as you can for user not to make choices and not to make too much decisions. First of all, when users make decisions, it makes them feel the time a little bit more. So they will understand how much time, like mentally, they will understand how much time did they spend on this application, on this website. And the influence of Hicks law can be different because you can see differently how do websites and how do different applications work with their navigation. So you're going page by page, or you're just scrolling, swiping, and the simpler application is, the more time the user will spend there. So when you need to make multiple choices in different applications, when it's Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, you make just one swipe or one scroll, and you always know the result. You will see another video. And the third one is about no thinking or Miller's law. And one of the main rules of UX UI designers is always to make their pages this way that the users won't have to think a lot. So UX principle is closely linked to making users not to think a lot on web pages holds that average person can hold only 7 items on their mind at the same time, or let's say from 5 to 9. So for developers and for the designers, it means that reducing of number of items that users have to hold in their minds at the same time will work only for them because the UI UX of the application or of this website won't demand from users a lot of attention and a lot of mental effort to be on their website. So obviously, how users accept it is just more easier and more pleasant for them to be exactly on this web page. A lot of actions that we do is scrolling applications. They take very, very low cognitive load. And the UI of scrolling applications is super easy for users to make them understand and make them think that they can do what they want inside this application and remove different distractions from the application. So you will basically, when you use this application, have like one simple task to scroll it. And implementing this task, doing this task, you'll be rewarded. And the next your reward is a new video that you will see. And this is what about the principle of instant rewards and user control. It means that the users are more likely to hold users' attention when the user is made feel like they will get the control over using this application. User is more likely to feel in control with the interaction when they don't have to wait for response. For example, how it works with scrolling. They don't need to click button or click like going to the next section or clicking to watch the next video. When they will have to wait for response of internet or response of the application to load this next video or this next piece of information. And apps and websites that react quickly to the user's action are more likely to hold their attention. So this means that the user feels rewarded from this content. And this makes them more focused on this content and less distracted as a user. And of course, when we're talking about users, here also we need to include the impact on the users, because when long term you're using these applications, of course, your brain cells are starting to work extensively during the use of this application, which can, of course, influence your mentally and the way how your brain works. I'm not going to tell like some super scaring things that can happen when you're using TikTok every day, but this is just like a bit of proven information, and yeah, that is happening. So first of all, there are 3 main factors that is happening, and the first is a key player when you're scrolling TikTok. What is working the most here is this feeling good hormone, dopamine, and it's released when you encounter something enjoyable or rewarding. So basically, this is what happens when you're scrolling. When you every 15 seconds you see a new piece of content, you feel like you learn something. You feel like you're inside of society, So of course you have this dopamine that makes you feel like pleasurable sensation that with every scroll, with every new interesting video, you will basically have a new dopamine hit. And the second factor here is the stress response. So while dopamine keeps you engaged while you're using the application, this mindless scrolling also can trigger your body stress response. So when at the same time you get some dose of dopamine, for example, if you have a lot of good, if going to TikTok, going to Instagram makes you feel good. So for example, when you will get notification that some of your favorite influencers, bloggers posted something, or you will get some message, of course it will get like good association for you and some dopamine in your body. But at the same time, you get some stress from it because basically every from 15 seconds to 60 seconds, you get a new piece of information, which is increases the stress in the organism and stress levels. And the combination of having these stress levels in the organism plus dopamine can lead to a little bit of addiction because it makes this feeling very unique and the one you can't actually reach in being in real life, talking to real people, or for example, educating yourself from real institutions or books, and etc. And of course, this is influencing the attention span because it's proved then when it comes to mindless scrolling, a lot of people giving less results on focusing on single task afterwards because of the age of constant scrolling, not only on these applications, but overall our interactions with the smartphone and with different websites and how we work with information nowadays. Yeah. So overall, here we can figure short-term and long-term effects of using these scrolling applications. In the short term, let's say we have less opportunities to concentrate on important tasks. That can lead to decreased productivity on work, on studies, and etc. And in the long term, the habit of scrolling may contribute to attention disorders and inability to sustain focus in bigger periods. And now let's talk about leveraging scrolling for marketing. So when we're talking that there are a lot of engaged users, that it's very easy to use TikTok, that you can basically access these applications from your smartphone only having an internet. Of course, this attracts businesses, companies, bloggers, influencers to have their marketing campaigns and to build their brand also on TikTok. And like moreover, nowadays for B2C businesses, it's more like not just an option to be promoted on TikTok or not, but kind of necessity if you need to stay competitive with other companies in your area. Yeah, and there are some advantages of using. So first of all, it's expensive user base because this can be a bit of stereotype, but TikTok is not just used by kids and teenagers. Huge groups of population from elderly to the youngest are using TikTok. And what's interesting here is that TikTok gathers any age group, any nationality, also people from different locations, religions, backgrounds, etc., etc. So with good targeting of your advertisement, of your content on TikTok, or scrolling application, you can basically reach your audience very easily. Second of all is that audience on the TikTok and scrolling applications is very engaged because of how the algorithms are working. Third of all, the content on TikTok is very user generated. So obviously, with AI and with machine learning, people on TikTok are seeing stuff they want to see based on their previous recommendations, based on their previous, like what they interacted with, what they liked. So they see this type of content again. Then it's brand awarenesses and recall, which means this is if you're using your content and if you're doing it in very engaging way, in interesting way, and you can actually compete with other creators on TikTok, then people will be also engaged to this content. This advertising is very cost effective because you don't need to have big investments to make targeted advertisement on TikTok, but it's mostly based on luck and algorithms that your video will reach the right person that can potentially be a customer of your business. Yes. Then it's e-commerce integration, which means that when you scroll those applications, maybe somebody have noticed, you can see buttons like to buy now, or you can go to description and click the link to buy products directly. You can go to the bio of creator of or business, and also reach the website, so e-commerce website, for example, very quickly. Then the promotion across multiple platforms, because using those scrolling applications like Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, you don't need to worry that some group of your customers just like don't have TikTok downloaded on their smartphone. Just with a few clicks, you can post the video and it will reach your audience in any social media. And also that there are many advertising options. For example, branded hashtags, you can create challenges, you can interact with different bloggers or influencers on TikTok, and promote your products, your services this way. Marketing tips from the TikTok. First of all, you need to integrate your business as much as you can. So, into content of TikTok or any other scrolling applications, because you don't need to look very much different from different creators that are not businesses, that are not companies represented on TikTok or Instagram. But you can use pretty much same trends, same music, same approaches to content creation, but mention your product. Yeah. So here you can use trends and challenges, encourage user-generated content, partner with TikTok influencers, respond to comments under the post. This is a very good approach because users and your potential clients will see that you're actually responding to your audience and you communicating on public field with your audience. You can use and also it increases the number of comments under your posts, under your videos, so it's very good. Then how to do some tutorials, because you also need to give a feeling for the users, like you're being useful for them, and they're not just like wasting their time on TikTok watching some people dancing, doing lip syncs and stuff like that, but you also make the user feel like from this like TikTok session, Instagram session, they got a bit of interesting content also, and something that can educate them. Then deliver content in entertaining manner. Educational content and tips. Same thing like to-dos and tutorials. Then to create branded hashtags, because when you create branded hashtags, you can also see the metrics of how much interactions there happened with the hashtag. So you can semi-measure not just like the buying potential of your customers from TikTok or scrolling social medias, but how much do they actually love your brand and ready not just to buy your brand, to use your brand, but actually to promote it, which means they also want to share the effects they're using and they're appreciating this brand or company. And custom effects or filters. This means if, for example, you will create a camera filter on TikTok, users will also have some intentions and the reason to share your brand, to share your company, which will work for your brand identity and for brand recognition, of course. And when we're talking about how's the marketing done, here is important to include also metrics, because when we know metrics of these applications for creators, we also understand how this content is done and what is the purpose of scrolling these applications. Because metrics are basically what creators are focused on the platforms. So these are follower growth, conversion metrics, reach and impressions, hashtag performance, audience demographics, video completion rate, which stands for the correlation between how much times was your video watched and how many times the video was watched from the very beginning to the very end. And when we are talking about scrolling, how good it actually works, both for users, for the social platforms themselves, for influencers, for bloggers that are represented on these platforms. But does it actually fit to everybody? Like when you're creating your own websites, your own applications with different ideas, then there can be also idea to use this approach to engage your content more with the users. So here is important also to see the benefits of infinite scrolling and some alternatives for it. So the benefits are, first of all, it reduces interruptions. Because there is no button you need to click to go to the next piece of content when you're being engaged with this content. Second of all, is that infinite scrolling lowers interaction costs, because again, the page user don't have to wait for page to load again. But they can go quickly without any noticeable transition to the next page or to the next content. And third of all, infinite scrolling is very suited for mobile devices, which is meant by anatomical means and by the sizes of mobile devices, their overall development, because we have the sizes of our screens bigger and bigger basically every year. So it also influences how the programs, the platforms inside these devices work. But despite the fact it's very good for your content, it's very good for your platforms to have it, there can be also some usability issues, which can help you to consider if you actually need to use infinite scrolling on this platform or not. First of all, is refining content, because when you see some piece of content and you didn't interact with it, means you didn't like it, you didn't save it to your folder, you basically lost it and you have very, very low chances. For example, the post you saw on Instagram, the video you watched on TikTok, and you didn't like it, like physically didn't click the like button, there are pretty much good chances you'll never see it again. And second of all is the footer section. It also depends for which purposes is important to have the footer section, because the footer section always stands for it's located on the bottom on the page. For example, for contact information of the business of the company, for policies, and third of all is increased page load. Most often it's not an issue when we have access to the internet, but for users with limited data or with low speed of internet, this can be an issue that sometimes can make the usage of application almost impossible. And yeah, depends if it's possible, if it's suitable or not, using infinite scrolling. You can also have alternatives for it, which are load more button, infinite scrolling with integrated pagination, or classic pagination. These are advantages and disadvantages. And overall, if you have any questions, you can put them to the chat. And yeah, I'm finishing, and now I can sum up a little bit about this topic. Is that scrolling has overall made revolution in the last 10 years in the way how we use our phones and how they have changed. First of all, our phones, and second of all, overall our access to the internet. Because before to access the internet, we had to sit next to our computers, laptops, and etc. Now we have it basically in our pockets. And the scrolling creates very captivating experience for the users, which is also good for creators, for bloggers, and businesses that can be represented on these platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And as designers and developers continue to explore the potential of infinite scrolling and what they can actually figure out to make it and to use it to make the experience of user on this page or platform more engaging and actually prolong it. Here, different approaches and different techniques are used that are defining overall the digital era nowadays. So overall, I can tell that this is a very good tool for captivating audiences and for telling your stories in an engaging way, to make the person interact with your brand and with what you create very deeply. So this is whole new digital experience and much more to explore here. Yeah, thank you.